Did you know that in the books of How to Train Your Dragon, the story is vastly different than what was showcased to us in the movies? And not just that, even the dragons vary in form, personalities and types. Take Toothless for example. In the movies he is a Night Fury, but in the books, he is a specimen of the Seadragonus Giganticus Maximus, a species of dragon that is larger than any other in the overall expanded franchise, one that was earlier mistaken to be the Red Death in the movies, but was later clarified to be another species, one that was never seen in the movies nor games. Let's explore this one in this video. Let's begin. The Seadragonus Giganticus Maximus kinda sounds like a gladiator, or simply the Sea Dragon is the absolute godzilla of dragons in the How to Train Your Dragons books. While the movies originally planned for the Red Death to be one of these, it was later cancelled and then the Red Death became a species of its own. Then there are the Green Death and the Purple Death, which are clearly the names of specimens of the Seadragonus from the books, but just as with the Red Death, they were later classified as separate species, and as for the Green Death, a subspecies of the Red Death, and not really the type of dragon from the books. And you might think maybe it's the Bewilderbeast that is the movie's version of this dragon, and you'd be fair to think so, but no, neither is the Bewilderbeast the same creature, nor the Foreverwing. So imagine a creature so massive, so jaw-droppingly enormous that when it flies overhead, it literally blots out the moon, not as a metaphor but in a literal way, as it actually covers the sky. According to estimates on information based on the books, this dragon can grow to a length of about 900 to 1000 feet long, which means that's almost as 3 football fields long. Its head alone is 1.5 times the size of a blue whale, with teeth as long as 20 feet. That means each of these teeth are bigger than a car. And to top it off, one eye of this creature, any one eye, is the size of 6 grown men standing shoulder to shoulder. Wrap your head around that. Compared to a Red Death, the Green Death and the Purple Death from the movies and games or graphic works, it is 2.5 times longer and almost twice as long as Valka's Bewilderbeast, which comes in at 520 feet long. And Drago's Bewilderbeast is only 2/3 that of the Seadragonus. And as for the luminous Kraken, which one redditor has tried to pass off as bigger than a Bewilderbeast, based off on our estimations, this Leviathan adult titan wing, the luminous Kraken, the one that was seen as a skeleton, would be between 360 to 600 feet long, which is almost as big as the biggest Bewilderbeast, but coming short of 47 feet. Now the Seadragonus aren't just big, they're ancient and majestic. Their skin comes in deep ocean colors like blue, green, purple or other jewel-like hues, and their bodies are often encrusted with barnacles, corals and sea anemones, like living armored islands. They're also weird in ways only ancient fantasy creatures can be. They hatch from eggs that are as small as nano dragons, which are basically tiny insects in size, and they grow steadily over thousands of years, becoming so huge that they can rival mountains and islands in size. Only, as they grow even older, they shrink back down again, though no one really knows why. Oh, and here's the kicker, fully grown sea dragons have eyes in the back of their heads, real functioning eyes that started off as little freckles and developed over centuries as eyes. But as they age and shrink again, these eyes fade back into their skin and disappear completely. Their powers are nothing short of terrifying. The Seadragonus Giganticus Maximus can breathe fire for hours, some say even for an entire night, unleashing explosive blasts hot enough to melt stone and reshape coastlines. Some individuals like the legendary Furious have been known to shoot lightning bolts directly from their eyes. These flaming, sometimes hypnotic eyes can even burn with fury or paralyze enemies with a hypnotic stare. Many sea dragons possess also unique powers ranging from retractable teeth to telepathic communications. They speak fluent Norse and can project their thoughts directly into the minds of others, especially other dragons and sometimes even Vikings. Defensively, the sea dragon is nearly unstoppable. Its hide or skin and scales is covered in several feet of natural armor reinforced by its coral growths, and its claws and teeth are so strong they can slice through their own armored skin. Their blood, like other dragons, is green and acidic. Injuring one is not only difficult but also dangerous. All of this combines to make the Seadragonus Giganticus Maximus not just the biggest of dragons in the books, but an apocalyptic force, an ancient island-sized monster of the deep that commands respect, fear and awe in equal measure. Some are even capable of seeing glimpses of the future or past, though only in fleeting visions. Now, these gigantic dragons are terrifyingly intelligent too. and at times disturbingly cruel. These dragons don't simply eat to survive, they also play with their food, whether it's a flock of sheep or an entire Roman legion. They've been known to toy with their prey, dragging out the victim's moment of death for their own personal amusement. One infamous example, the Green Death, the one from the books, not the subspecies of the Red Death. This one demonstrated an array of sadistic methods to kill, dismember and devour its victims, suggesting that the Seadragonus not only enjoys the hunt, but also the suffering of those they conquer. Despite this, these dragons do possess a twisted sense of honor. A promise made by one of them is said to be unbreakable, yet ironically, there's no real force ensuring they keep their word, only their own pride or interpretation of that promise. Now with that out of the way, there are 5 specimens of this species in the books, and let's take a look at each one of them in brief. The first is the Green Death, also known as Merciless, who is basically a swimming mountain of doom, covered head to tail in crusty barnacles and coral. He is described as being 20 times bigger than a T-Rex, and yeah, that's as terrifying as it sounds. He's not just massive, he's cruel. He enjoys toying with his food, whether it's helpless animals or an entire Roman army, a legion. Then we have the Purple Death, which in fact is even bigger than the Green Death, so big that he might as well be an island with wings. His color is a glorious deep purple, and even the smoke he breathes is purple. Like a lot of dragons in the series, he is incredibly vain and full of himself, which makes him easy to manipulate. Hiccup tricks him into fighting the Green Death just by bruising his ego, and he literally starts a death match because he thinks someone called him ugly. Then there is also Furious, a major antagonist in the later books. His scale color shifts in the story from being green to blue, which is explained by the fact that he spent 100 years imprisoned and overgrown with glands. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we have Warden's Fang, an ancient dragon who is also a Seadragonus Giganticus Maximus, but you never guess by looking at him. He's old, really old. So old in fact that he's shrunk back down to a tiny size over the centuries. Hiccup originally thought that he was just a small regular dragon, but later learned he used to be this massive killer dragon like the others. And unlike the others though, Warden's Fang is peaceful and wise, and he becomes a loyal ally of Hiccup. Now the last one, Toothless. Forget the sleek black dragon from the DreamWorks movies. In the books, Toothless is a tiny, disobedient, whiny little dragon that can sit on Hiccup's arms. He's that small. He's green with red wings and absolutely full of himself. He doesn't have teeth yet, hence the name Toothless, and is a classic example of the book's portrayal of dragons being selfish, rude, but oddly endearing. At first, Hiccup thought Toothless was just a common or a garden dragon, nothing special, but eventually it's revealed that Toothless is actually a really young Seadragonus Giganticus Maximus, which makes his small size even more ironic. He'll likely grow into something enormous if he ever learns to follow instructions and really survive in this harsh world. And finally, a big contrast with the movies, the book version of Hiccup's world is a lot grimmer and more survival based. Instead of befriending dragons through empathy and hand gestures, kids had to sneak into dragon-infested nests while the creatures were hibernating or asleep and steal one for themselves, either a small dragon or an egg. And that is exactly how Toothless was taken by Hiccup. It was actually a rite of passage for the Viking kids. And overall, the story in the How to Train Your Dragon books was a little bit more gritty than what was seen in the flicks. But as far as movies go, the How to Train Your Dragon movies are a fantastic bunch. And also the live-action remake, which was released a few days back, was absolutely gorgeous. Do take a look at it. Now, if you like this video, then watch this other one too, the one in the end screens, and do check out our channel for other dragon and predator content. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, fam.